Hello, everyone. Good morning. Welcome back to the coffee stream. Today, we're going to have a bit of a different format. I usually read news. That's loud. Now, usually I read some news and we laugh and rant about the news. But today, I'm going to do a bit of a follow-up on a story I covered on Thursday. Oh, I'm just gonna tell you why we're all here, and then I'm gonna say hi to chat. So, on Thursday, I covered a story about the Baltimore Orioles putting Braille on their jerseys in honor of the 40th anniversary of the National Federation of the Blind moving to their city. Now, if, as you can remember, I was a little perturbed by the virtue signaling that was going on. And we're going to get into a bit more detail about what has been going on and some Twitter arguments that I've been having. And I'm going to try and explain my position as to why. Hello, good morning. As to why we don't, or as to why this is upsetting to me. I'm going to try and make my position clearer because it is flippin' hard to do that on Twitter and text. So, before we get into that, let's say good morning to the chat. Good morning to Nico. Good morning to Opinionated Scotsman. Good morning to Hate Camel. Good morning to Poisoning the Well. Good morning, Robert Burke. And I hope that everybody else can come and make it and have some fun with us. Please, if you are able to, follow, or if you're able and willing, follow the links in the description to the hello social rec. How are you? Oh, hi, Mr. Wicked. Hi, Churchy. Everyone's streaming in. Ha ha ha. They're streaming into the live stream. That was a terrible pun. So I'm just going to throw Pinkalo a link really quick because he said he may have something to add. Yes, of course I'm going to send the invite as blind press, you silly thing. Okay. Oops. Let's quickly do this here. Invite. All right. Pinkalo has the link if he chooses to use it. So yes, as I was saying, oh, gotta do rushes. Okay. Pinkalo has rushes. Hi, Joka, how are ya? So, what we're going to do today, I'm just gonna go and quickly recap what I read on Thursday. So the NFB is an acronym for the National Federation of the Blind, and it's an organization that, and I want to make this clear here, is actually staffed quite a lot by blind people. The president is totally blind. This organization does a lot of really good work for American blind people. They are they're one of the main reasons that there are so many blind people in America that actually have jobs. The crappy part is the unemployment rate among blind people is still about 75%. Um, and that is mostly because employers don't understand that we are fully capable. We just need some adaptations to like the computer that or any like it's very simple adaptations. Um, there's also a big fear of being blind. I'd like to do an actual video where because I found a couple of studies that show that people, if they were given a choice, would choose almost any other disability, even having cancer over being blind. So that's a big reason as to why blind people don't get hired. And the NFB does a lot of good work in trying to get blind people employed, try to give blind people what's called independent living skills, which is your basic everyday stuff like learning how to cook, learning how to clean, learning how to keep things organized, all that fun stuff. And so they partnered with the Baltimore Orioles and put what, well, they say they put Braille on their jerseys. And the Braille is flat orange dots um, on the shirt. And Braille itself is bumpy. It's characterized of 6 dots that are raised, and they go in 2 vertical lines, 1, 2, 3 on the left, 4, 5, 6 on the right. And these combinations of dots put in different positions make letters. Um, now, saying now this would have been fine if you wanted to celebrate the anniversary of the NFB coming to Baltimore, which, that's a good thing to celebrate, 40 years. They auctioned off the jerseys to and all the proceeds from that auction are going to the NFB. But where I started getting upset is when they start saying things like, this is a great way to promote Braille literacy and get people to talk about blind people. Well, first of all, no, it's not a great way to promote Braille literacy because the way that those shirts are designed, that's not Braille. That's, you can't misrepresent something and then call it the thing that you're misrepresenting, because to the layman, they're going to think that that's what Braille looks like. And they did hand out cards with the Braille alphabet on them, but if you're just handing out pieces of paper with or to a stadium full of people, your average person doesn't have blind people in their lives. They're not going to know, like, oh, this is Braille. Like, the only way this would have worked is if there was a big announcement at the beginning of the game, um, and to let people know that this is what was going on. Any blind people in the stadium would have had to have been told beforehand, hey, this is what's going on with the shirts. And the only way they would have even known how the shirts look is if they were able to go down and start touching the players. And to say that this is a promotion of Braille literacy when you don't even have access to the shirts to see the Braille. No, Fane, I didn't say that the average person doesn't know what Braille is. I said they wouldn't know what it looks like. And when they get a piece of paper handed to them at a sporting event where they're just going to have fun and whatever, it's just going to be gobbledygook to them. That would be like you going to a football game or a baseball game and somebody saying, we're going to promote awareness of Chinese people tonight, and we've put the shirts in Chinese, and here's a card with some Chinese characters on it. Church, yeah, it says, I'd rather be blind than have cancer or lose my mobility. Yeah. I grew up with several blind and deaf people. They can, yeah, they can do. I know you see it every day, but my point is that you can't say that you're promoting Braille literacy when the thing that's promoting Braille literacy is on the backs of players that you're not interacting with. You're just there to watch them, and you can't even watch them because you can't see them. Unless they had a big thing at the end of the game where all the blind people that were invited to the game were invited onto the pitch to touch the shirts. Hi, Poppy. Okay, it was the Braille alphabet, but um, unless you have print underneath the Braille and explaining what each letter is and going like it, I have done these sessions where I show Braille to sighted people. And if I were to just hand them a card and walk away, even if it had print on it, they have more questions than that. This is not this is what I'm trying to say is they could have done this a lot better. And they could have marketed Braille literacy in a lot better way. And if they want blind people to be something that is a topic of discussion, why not partner with the stadium and try and have blind people get some jobs there selling tickets or, being, ushers or something. Like you've been in the city of Baltimore for 40 years, and I went and checked on the NFB website. I don't see any partner or affiliation links. Um, Now I don't know if that's just because of the way the website is coded, which would be irony of all ironies that a website for the blind has got um, links and images that aren't accessible. Yes, capital letters. There's more to Braille than just letters. For example, capital letters. Yes, Churchy. And then there's contracted Braille, which is shorthand. And then there's what's called Nemeth code, which is what you'd use for math. And then there are the accents for different languages. Um, it's so what we have. The problem is that people who help out blind people even are having a lot of they have trouble trying to understand. I have an orientation and mobility worker who, in order to become an orientation and mobility worker, and what they do is they help blind people learn how to navigate properly. They help them learn how to plan a route around their city, so that they can efficiently and independently travel. And they need to do blindfold training with a cane in order to um, become a certified orientation and mobility instructor. That is one of the things they need to do is blindfold training with a cane. And my instructor will even say, I don't get it. I know I work with blind people. I had to be blindfolded, but I don't get it. I can take the blindfold off. I I have that option. There's no there's no there's no taking the blindfold off for me. And there's no this this whole this whole problem that I'm having with they're saying that it promotes Braille literacy. You that's It cheapens all of the hard work that goes into My school did a blindness awareness thing when I was little. We were given Braille and none of us could wrap our minds around how it was read. Yes, exactly, Nico. If you give people Braille and just go, here, have some Braille, you without explaining anything, like it's impossible to explain Braille to a stadium full of people all at once. This is my problem. It Yes, I get that it was designed to be a gesture, but it seems like a hollow one. Hi, Straight Sith Nail. Yes, Cherokee, you're right. That's what I'm trying to get at. And there's a lot of work that goes into becoming a support staff to help blind people in school, because not all blind people go to schools for the blind. And people who are sighted and are helping blind people with Braille have to learn how to read it with their eyes. The cards did have regular text on it. Okay, well, that's good. Um, I've handed out several cards that have print and Braille on them, and I've still had to spend about 20 minutes explaining exactly how it's read and exactly what is what. And what I'm saying is, it these what they've done here is more beneficial to a smaller group of people. This is what I'm trying to say. Yes, beat baseball players were coming out and saying the promotion was positive. I did see a few saying that. And what and I can understand where they're coming from. But believe me, what I'm trying to say is that I understand that they were trying to have a positive promotion here. I'm not saying that they were maliciously being infantilizing and virtue signaling. What I'm saying is that, in my opinion, it comes across. Oh, my nephew has shaken baby syndrome. He went to a school for the blind his first 3 years of school. Oh, okay. Good afternoon, Aries C. He still uses a cane because he doesn't have the best peripheral vision. Okay. No, like, thank you, Pincalo. Thank you for that analogy. Think about handing out a hieroglyphs on a card and a direct English translation. A lot is lost in that. That's what I'm trying to bring across here. Even if you just hand out Braille with print next to it, people still want to have it explained how you read. They want to watch you read it. They want to see, like, this is, and I'm speaking from experience. I've done advocacy for years. And the minute you bring out Braille, even if they have print next to it, they don't care about the print. They want to know how the Braille works. And they want to know how you read it. They want to see you read it. And if you've got a stadium full of people doing those interactions and bringing that awareness to people is impossible. And I think that there could have been a much better way to do this thing. I'm not saying that they should not have had this night. What I'm saying is that the way that they went about this night and the way that the news is running with it is very, very hollow, very condescending. Smart kid, I still refuse to use a cane. So, social rec. What I would have done is I would have done the um I would have done an announcement saying, tonight is a special night. It's the 40th anniversary of the National Federation of the Blind moving to Baltimore, and the Baltimore Orioles are celebrating tonight by what they could have done was they still could have donated their jerseys. They could have had like a instead of making a Braille jersey, they could have done a like 40th anniversary um they could like a 40th anniversary uh jersey, because if they wanted to do a design for a Braille jersey, they were going to design a new shirt anyway. So what I would have done is I would have done like a special 40th anniversary jersey and auctioned that off, and I would have on the NFB's end been using my employment programs to find a few like some outreach, some jobs for some blind people at the stadium to help to facilitate, or even not even jobs, even volunteering for the night. To have blind people volunteering and working with their community and interacting with their community and showing them that they are productive members of society. That's how I would have had the campaign, and then invited the blind volunteers to the game, because they did have a bunch. They had quite a lot of blind people at that game for that night, and so that's what I would have done. I would have designed a special 40th anniversary jersey and auctioned that off and sent the proceeds to the NFB. Gun got they still should have. Yeah, the throwing the first pitch, that one's a little I wouldn't have done that, but, still have the blind concert pianist come and play the national anthem, Like I said, have blind volunteers for that game help with tickets and or just there are all sorts of ways to have blind people involved and get the conversation going where people can actually speak to a blind person and be like, "Hey, if you don't mind me asking, how are you able to do this?" Or just but if you hand out just random cards with Braille and print and have or yes, Pincalo says an instructional PSA. Pincalo says an instructive PSA would have been the best. Don't push the blind, don't honk at the blind, don't try and kill the blind, stuff like that. Because this is something that I deal with a lot. I deal with people thinking I'm going to cross a street when I'm just lining up and making sure I'm positioned correctly, and they lay on their horns. I've actually had people scream out their windows, "Don't cross!" And I know they're trying to help, but it makes you jump and it throws you off. And it also makes you feel a little insulted that people would think that just because you can't see that you're just going to duck across the street. Um, it's there are so many ways that the conversation around blindness and blind people could have been brought up. That this was it felt very hollow, and it's not a good campaign for a large crowd of people. Like I said, handing out the Braille is much better in a smaller setting where you can interact and explain to people how it works. Because people do want to know, and people do want to watch a blind person read. And oh, really, Nico? People don't. And Nico says, and honestly, people don't know any better. I learned a lot by just watching these. Thanks a lot, Nico. Yes, straight Sith male. I am completely blind. I have a full fake prosthetic in my right eye and a half shell in my left. So it's basically an insanely thick acrylic contact lens that is the same color as as my full prosthetic in my right eye, just to balance things out and make things normal. Um, yeah, but that's where my problem was. It's not that they did this night. It's the way they did the night. And the NFB, in my opinion, should know better because they are a organization primarily run by blind people. And blind, like, I know that they've done a lot of advocacy. I've I recommend checking out her video where she gets her new eyes. And then Social Rec says, "It is. I actually felt human emotions watching it." Um, but they know how people react and how they want to interact with the blind. But they chose this particular campaign with a large group of people, and it doesn't make sense to me. Like, this is an organization that has independent living skills training centers where you go away for months at a time, and these are run by, yes, churchy. Imagine what Pinkala said. It would be like having a Japanese out night and handing out cards with their alphabet. It would show a part of their language, what part of their language looks like, but nothing in practical use. It would go in one ear and out the other. Exactly, churchy. That's what I'm trying to say. The way that they're doing it is not a helpful way to get the message across. So that was my problem with that is why I was getting so angry about this on Twitter, was because I was having trouble explaining my issue with it, and then I was running into people saying, I don't understand. It's spreading awareness. People are talking about it. Isn't this what was? Yeah, most would get the card, say that's nifty, and discard it shortly after. Exactly. I guarantee you most of those cards ended up on the ground under the bleachers in that stadium. I will guarantee you that most of those cards ended up on the ground under the bleachers in that stadium. Um, Braille is universal. They do have Braille in for different languages. Um, they even have Chinese Braille. I've never seen Chinese Braille. I don't know what it looks like. Um, I don't know what Arabic Braille looks like either. But I do know that they read it the other way. Like, I read left to right, they read it right to left. Um, oh, no, I'm not saying that they're trying to get the sighted to learn Braille, but what they were trying to say is they were trying to promote Braille literacy, and if they're trying to promote the importance of Braille literacy for blind people, then that's not how you go about it. Blind people have bad ideas too. Yes, Poppy, they sure do. um, and I will definitely call out a blind person with a bad idea. I'm not one of those people. Um, but what got me going was I just it was really hard to explain on Twitter in text why this was making me so upset. And I didn't want blind people can be massive cunts too. Blind's piano instructor hates sighted people. Actually, yeah, she kind of did. It came across as hollow to me, just a way to get attention and some brownie points for being good allies. Yeah, Nico, that's how it felt. The Pop Tart says it was actually pretty on the spot. They came to them about something else and realized it was the 40th anniversary and decided to do this big thing. But we all can agree, deaf people are the worst kind of broken people. I disavow. I disavow. um, so I that's why I got so upset about it because from the advocacy standpoint, this was not the best way to promote Braille literacy for the blind, and I'm pretty sure the NFP actually straight SIF mail. I have used echolocation before. I don't all the time because I've it's not socially acceptable for people to walk around going all the time. So I don't do that. There are some blind people who do. That's just not how I roll. However, at my cottage, there have been a few times, well, more than a few, where I've either left my cane at home or I've just misplaced my cane at the cottage and had to run out to the outhouse. Yes, we have an outhouse at the cottage. We don't have plumbing. We have a deliverance shack in the woods. And I have snapped my fingers so that I can hear that I'm getting close to the outhouse. It is a straight shot from the back door of the cottage to the outhouse, but sometimes if you really have to piss and you're dancing while you're walking, you kind of get off course a bit. Um, so that's that. So short answer, sometimes I have used echolocation, yes. I'm just going to mute for 10 seconds. Hold on a second. Okay, theoretically. Sorry, my lighter is very loud. Um, so guys, I've got about half an hour left of this. Are there any more questions regarding this particular thing? Or, oh, God, yes, Nico. I have totally done that with the stairs, Nico. Totally. Pinkalo says, hey, don't talk shit about our deliverance shack. It is very sturdy for 60 years old and being built out of pallets. It's also 50 feet from the back door. That's close. That's close-ish. So if there's any questions about this particular campaign that made me angry, or about me in general, or if you want me, I do have some news articles in my Twitter DMs. If you guys want me to cover a couple, let me know. I know this was a different format than I usually do. Um, but I just, instead of doing a video that would have ended up being about 20 minutes long, I decided I would do this live. Um, we don't go to the cottage in the wintertime, because we would basically have to get to the entrance and dig a path to the um, cottage. Um, so we usually shut the cottage down around Thanksgiving, and we open it on Victoria Day. So that's in May. It's our Victoria Day holiday is a week before Memorial Day. I know I was a big cause of you switching up your format, but I thank you for taking your time to explain your point of view to me. No problem, Sophane. It it wasn't coming across well in text, so I figured I would do it this way, because I figured, if it was causing this much confusion, that it would probably do that with more than just you. So it would make more sense to do a um I figured it would be better to do it this way. I'm a problematic libtard, but I do try to give people a fair shake and an understanding of where they're coming from. Hey, good one. That's good, man. That's a good way to be. I wish decisions would have more thought put into them, but most times it's just boardroom executives making, yeah, that's true. Social rec. Just a boardroom full of executives trying to agree on what's a better message. So yeah, let me know what you guys want. One's in the chat if you want to just do Q&A, or choose if you want me to find a news article to read. I'm just going to check something really fast. Mix of both and I can't decide. Let's see here. Let's find a good article to read here. Oh, the kitten ran off. And then there's some crazy lady 2 doors down caught him, locked him in her car, and he ran up under the dashboard. Actually, according to her, it's a girl. Um, no, that was all, Pancolo. Okay, so Hog Silk, I've got my phone. I and it's got a screen reader called VoiceOver on it, and it's the same as my computer. So hold on. 10:40 a.m. Nico, PFFT. Well, it's not exactly like you could check the sensitive. 10:40 a.m. Opinionated Scotsman. Poor cat. That's my phone. So I wish I had a refreshing Braille display. Those are the cheapest ones are about $1,400, and the most expensive ones are upwards of $7,000 to $8,000. Um, it's so yeah, the cat. So Pincalo called it a he, and the person was like, "It's a girl," and he's like, "Oh yeah, and did it have like white on its face and around it?" And no, it didn't have that much white on it. It's like, okay. Oh, I have my phone at about 80% speaking rate. Let's find something here to read. Tornadoes. Russia putting missiles in Syria. Ooh, an article on why a Canadian Liberal member of Parliament crossed the floor. I wonder how that is. What? The case has... Okay. Judge grants defense more time to review disclosure in Fredericton shooting case. You guys remember? Did you guys hear about the Oh, yeah. Well, too bad you couldn't just forward them to me when he sends them to you. Oh, snap. I'm trying to find an interesting story for you guys. Oh, I don't want to read that. That's sad. I don't want to hear about children being bitten by dogs. No, thank you. Let's find something else. Oh, look, someone in BC assaulted 3 people. Indonesian teenager rescued after drifting 7 weeks at sea. Oh, shit. Thank you, Pincalo. Because there is nothing good here. Let's Google. You missed a lot, Aries. Here, let's... News. Ah! Why are you being stupid? Okay, news plus... Should I do disability or blind? Let's see, what disability news of 2018 do we have here? There's a disability section in The Guardian. Okay. What does The Guardian have here? Oh, NHS wins legal fight over pharma firms over sight loss drug? Hi, Vanilla Bear. Yeah, if you type in news plus disability on Google, sorry, Netflix, we don't need another freak show. What the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna see what that is. This was published on September 18th. The author is called Francis Ryan. It sounds like an opinion piece to me. Oh, I covered that in a stream, Nico, called um, "Time for a Cringe Fest." It's back in my archive. Oh, have you guys ever heard of this show Afflicted on Netflix? Bye, Sophane. Thanks for coming and listening. Yeah, have you guys ever heard of Afflicted? That's what this is about.
Francis Wright. Afflicted has enraged its participants, but it wouldn't be the first TV show to use people with disabilities as entertainment fodder. Link. After Francis Ryan. Link. Facebook. Link. Heading level 3. Shares. 407. Link. 1. Screen grab from the link. Image. Screen grab from the series Afflicted by Netflix. Photograph. Netflix. End of. Screen grab from the series Afflicted by. Screen grab from the. Okay, so they're going to say it's a screen grab from the show. It's about people with disabilities. Hello, Bear. But they're not going to caption the photo and tell us what the photo is to be inclusive to one of the disabilities. Okay. Hey. An open letter to New York. Link. Netflix. Was published on Tuesday criticizing its recent docu-series, Afflicted, which chronicles the lives of 7 people with chronic illnesses. The letter highlighted what it called the show's stigmatizing portrayal of disability and was signed by a Nobel laureate as well as filmmakers, writers and activists including Monica Lewinsky and Lena Dunham. You are currently on a... Oh, good. It's endorsed by Monica Lewinsky and Lena Dunham. An open letter to the series of, or to an open letter to Netflix over the docu-series Afflicted, which focuses on 7 people with disabilities. And it's signed by people including Lena Dunham and Monica Lewinsky. Aw, don't make fun of Vanilla Bear, Irate Bear. Although I'm going to call him Pink Carlo from now on. Build is portraying. Link. Baffling symptoms and controversial. Build is portraying. Link. Baffling symptoms and controversial diagnosis. The show follows patients as they search for treatments and some relief, but it was alleged in. You are currently on a text element. Link. Article in the LA Times. That producers used unethical practices, editing footage to suggest participants' medical conditions were psychosomatic disorders, using few expert doctors and focusing on skeptical medics who cast doubt on whether the individuals were ill at all. That science doesn't understand many health conditions doesn't make their symptoms less real. You are currently on a... Did this
person writes skeptical as septical?
The truth behind Netflix is afflicted. Link. You are article in the LA Times. Link. You are currently on a link to click that producers used unethical. The article points out that Dan Partland, the executive producer of the series, said the aim was to give the world a compassionate window into the difficulties of patients and families struggling with elusive and misunderstood illnesses. Yet the participants themselves are at the forefront of the criticism. Last month, several of those included in the series wrote a joint post on Medium titled Link. The truth behind Netflix is afflicted. You are participants in the show have been harassed online and have written that they have even been. Link. Participants in the show have been harassed online and have written that they have even been. Link. Physically threatened or received death threats. Who are currently on a text line. These are people who trusted the program makers to help spread understanding of their conditions to the public and say they were rewarded by having their lives mocked to peddle prejudice, as Jill Maxey Adelstein, who has multiple chemical sensitivity, wrote in her.
Multiple chemical sensitivity.
Link. Essay. Criticizing the show. I trusted you with my heart and my story, and now you are using it against me and my people. This isn't simply about hurt feelings. As the letter says, Netflix reaches 300 million viewers worldwide and its programs have the power to reinforce barriers to appropriate medical care or disability benefits, dampen the support of vital research, and add to the stigma and social isolation of an already profoundly marginalized group of people. There is a long history of disability being used as entertainment, from TV following rare medical conditions to dwarf wrestling, modern-day Victorian freak shows. You are currently on it.
Okay, no. No, it's hard. Oh, yeah, I did. So these people are saying that because this show, these people are going the opposite way of what I was doing, what I was saying. I was trying, like, because these people, this show is supposedly trying to show people it's supposed to try and show people living with disabilities, and apparently this is making them a freak show. I don't.
But this isn't simply when groups are stereotyped. But this isn't simply about hurt feelings. When groups are stereotyped on TV, it does not just reflect the prejudices of the time, but can be key in perpetuating them. Distorted depictions can be particularly damaging for people with chronic illnesses, who are typically disbelieved and told it's all in your head. But this goes for many minorities whose lives are used as entertainment fodder for the majority.
Okay, but it's not being used as entertainment fodder. It was a docu-series. You don't frickin'. It's a docu-series. It's not a sitcom. They're trying to show people what living with chronic illness is like in a docu-series. It's not like they're writing a version of Modern Family where they're all disabled and like laughing because the blind dad fell down the stairs for the third time that day. This is a documentary series. Medicre's video made me wish John Wick was real. Yeah.
The Residents on Benefit Street, the Channel 4 documentary centered on a deprived Birmingham community, became synonymous with the scrounger rhetoric in the early years of cuts to the welfare budget. YT, one of the central figures in the show, later said the way she and her neighbors were portrayed. Link. Ripped us apart. You are currently on a link. Comma, although a senior Channel 4 executive insisted that it was. Link. Important to tell the stories of distressed parts of our society. You are currently on.
It is important to tell the story. Let me go look at this truth about Hold on. The truth behind Netflix is afflicted. I want to see what this post has to say.
Is afflicted. We are some of the subjects of the recent Netflix docuseries. Afflicted.
We are some of the subjects of the recent docuseries Afflicted.
We were all told that we would be participating in a project that would show our lives and our struggles with illness through a compassionate lens. We participated because our diagnoses are misunderstood and stigmatized. We thought that revealing some of the most intimate moments of our lives would lead to greater public understanding. We hoped that with it might come investment in research to find biomarkers and better treatments. We never fathomed that we were participating in a project that would instead expose us and our communities to further link, ridicule, and disbelief. Period. The most serious and central flaw of Afflicted is the way it frames our conditions, which impact millions of people around the world, as psychosomatic or psychiatric disorders. It does this in part by carefully excluding facts, which show that yes, while there is a lot that science does not understand about our conditions, they have an organic basis. You are currently on a text element.
But how can... Okay.
Scientists with deep knowledge of the research literature, including several from the Open Medicine Foundations. Community Symposium on the Molecular Basis of ME/CFS. At Stanford, which the film crew did shoot, were either not interviewed or their interviews ended up on the cutting room floor. Instead, Afflicted frequently relies heavily on the skeptical voices of experts who have no relevant professional or academic expertise in our diseases. You are currently on a tech. Many of our concrete diagnosis and test results are excluded from the series. Our conventional medical doctors were not consulted during filming. Even our own skepticism about some of the alternative treatments we pursued, sometimes with the help or at the suggestion of the production company, was carefully edited out, all to craft the most sensationalist narrative possible.
That's not good. See, this is where I like to do digging. If they're going to on the topic of Netflix, RIP Witcher casting. Yeah. That's what it seems like. And it seems like they're by the way, Ghost Dog, thank you for the $5 donation. I just saw that. Oh, Poppy, that sucks. That's what it seems like. It seems like they're saying that their illnesses were portrayed as psychosomatic, and then they just said that there's not much scientific knowledge as to why their diseases are the way they are. So maybe some of them are psychosomatic.
The damage to each of us personally and to our communities collectively is difficult to overstate and is ongoing, even as we write this post. You are currently...
Wait, difficult to overstate? Why would you want to overstate the damage? Wouldn't you be worried about understating, or that is a weird way to word that sentence.
The damage to each of us
personally and to our communities is difficult to overstate. That is an interesting way of putting that. That's a very interesting way to state.
Since the film's release, it has been said many times by many viewers that our problem is in our heads, that we can't accept that we need mental help. Unbeknownst to these viewers, most of us have been referred to psychiatrists at some point in our illness, and yet we're still sick. This happens commonly to patients who doctors are unable to diagnose. Many of us, out of desperation, have even tried antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, or other psychiatric or psychological interventions. They did not work. Mental illness is serious and devastating, and were that an explanation for our symptoms, we would gladly pursue treatment. We have all seen psychiatrists or psychologists, and have never been told that our physical symptoms have a psychiatric cause. You are currently on a text.
Okay. So you're upset at the way it was edited. I can understand that if things were edited out badly. See, this is a hard one because we just finished talking about how things can seem to a group of people. So this one's hard.
So, in order to start to undo some of the damage done and set the record straight, we each wrote about our experiences with the process of shooting the film, as well as the most egregious errors, manipulations, and omissions of the edit. We will have more to say in the coming days and weeks regarding what action we hope Netflix will take to remedy the situation, and how you can help support us. Here are our true stories. Read. Link. Jamison. I feel like this is an unjust outcome that needs to be brought to the public's attention. You are Read. Link. Jesse. Anne. Link. Nick. His essays. With Becca, we agreed to participate, because we were assured it would faithfully tell her story. You are currently...
So this seems like they were unhappy with how things were edited and how they were portrayed. Yeah, exactly. Hog silk, exactly. Some of them may be psychological, but I wouldn't like to guess without seeing for myself. Exactly. This seems like it could be a genuine issue. This is a very interesting thing. I think I'm going to do a bit more reading on this. Yeah, I'm going to do a bit more reading on that and see. I may actually take a look at Afflicted and take a look and see. Well, guys, we're coming up on 11 o'clock. I know, like I said, this was a little bit different than normal. We'll head back to, we will head back
to the normal scheduled format for tomorrow. Thank you again, Ghost Dog, for the donation. That means a lot. It's actually 5 p.m., but I'll play along. We'll be back to our regularly scheduled format tomorrow at 10 a.m. We'll be doing news and fun things. Thank you guys for coming and watching and listening. And I hope I was a bit more clear as to why I got so ranty like on Twitter. Well, good night, Nico. Hope you get some sleep. Like I said, thanks to everyone for coming out. I hope everyone has a good rest of their day, and we will see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern for the next coffee stream. Have a great day, everyone. We'll catch you tomorrow.